Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this section before we get on to the exciting subject of actually driving traffic to your store is fraud analysis. Now, you remember that I took the full Shopify package so that I could basically show you this. Now, before we get into it, fraud analysis is not a big deal. I don't want to get worried that it's going to be an awful lot of fraud on your store. Will it happen? Probably. I've been doing this for a long time, and I would estimate that less than 1% of the orders that I receive are basically suspect, and I may end up ultimately losing money. But you know, that's business. If you are running a physical store, you have to worry about things like shoplifting or indeed stolen credit cards. So this is just the way it goes in business, but less than 1% is really not a big deal. But what's nice with Shopify is that you do get this fraud analysis tool. So I'm here on the order that I made as part of my test order. And if I scroll down, I get this section here, fraud analysis. Now, if you've got the normal Shopify package, you won't see this. So what it's done is it's used some sort of algorithm to try to understand whether this order is fraudulent or not. So it's got a low, medium, high. It's given me a low. I would hope so because it was me. And then it says the characteristics of this order are similar to non-fraudulent orders observed in the past. There were 2 payment attempts. Okay, fair enough. I can then view the full analysis. Now here I get all kinds of stuff that might help me determine whether this was a fraudulent payment. An interesting one here is that the shipping address is 8,169 kilometers from the location of the IP. So do you remember I basically, with that customer information, I actually put in somebody in Anchorage just as a test, Anchorage, Alaska, a long way from me, but it picked that up. Okay, again here, the billing address is listed as United States, but the order was placed from France. Now, those aren't particularly alarming things. You know, that happens all the time with people buying stuff that might be in one place and shipping to somewhere else. But nevertheless, it has flagged that as a little red dot. But overall, it has decided that I am low risk and therefore nothing to worry about. Now, if I come out of here, as orders come in, you may see some medium and you may very occasionally see some high. And if that happens, I encourage you to click on the full analysis and decide whether you want to accept that payment or not before you ship the order. Now, I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but this is a very rare event, so please don't get obsessed with it by any stretch. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is if you don't have the full Shopify package and therefore this fraud analysis is not available, you can rest assured that your payment provider will also be looking at some sort of fraud analysis. So if you're with Stripe, you're with PayPal, or indeed any of the others, they will also have well built-in fraud analysis systems. If you think about it, it's in their interest because they take a fee for a successful order. And if later on it turns out that it wasn't a successful order and has to be refunded, then potentially they lose their fee. So it's very much in their interest to make sure that the orders that are going through their systems are all good. So there we go. That's the fraud analysis tool provided by Shopify, and it's just something to keep an eye on from time to time.